The Life and Sad Ending of Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman was born Daniel Robert Elfman on May 29, 1953, in Los Angeles, California, United States. His father, Blossom Elfman, was a writer, illustrator of children's books, and a teacher in the U.S. Air Force. His mother, Blossom Clare Elfman, is an award-winning novelist. He grew up in the rich neighborhood of Baldwin Hills, Los Angeles. He found himself to be the only white Jewish child in that area, and he could easily be recognized as one due to his red hair. At a tender age, Elfman heard the compositions of Bernard Herrmann and Max Steiner at a local movie theater and fell in love with them. During this time, he also formed a ska band with his schoolmates. He dropped out of high school and joined his brother Richard Elfman in France, where he performed with the avant-garde musical theater group Le Grand Magic Circus. They later toured across Africa, playing an entirely different kind of music. Elfman's travel across the world proved to be an essential learning experience, as he got the opportunity to absorb new and unique musical styles. Although he was never a student of the California Institute of the Arts, he frequently visited it for a couple of years to pick up new skills. Danny Elfman's brother, Richard Elfman, started a new musical theater group called the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo in 1972. As a key member, Danny composed his first score with the group to his brother's debut film, Forbidden Zone. Danny became the head of the group in 1976 onwards, and the troupe started recording and touring under the new name, Oingo Boingo. The counter-left-wing rock and roll band soon became popular among the locals because of its provocative and unique music. But in the 80s, the troupe's compositions were featured in several movies like 16 Candles, Weird Science, Back to School, Summer School, and Ghostbusters 2. Hollywood director Tim Burton signed Danny Elfman to write the score to a film adaptation of the cult TV series Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 1985. With the support of Oingo Boingo's guitarist and arranger Steve Bartek, Danny wrote mesmerizing music, which made famous composers like Nino Rota and Bernard Herrmann notice him. Danny Elfman wrote and arranged the scores for Tim Burton's directed film Beetlejuice, and the 1988 movie is considered to be one of the most acclaimed works of Elfman's career. Its theme set the tone for the movie from the beginning as a fantasy comedy horror film. He composed music for the 1989 movie Batman, which is still remembered for its majestic theme. In fact, the film's theme played an essential role in its success and is considered to be one of the best superhero scores to date. The popularity of Pee-wee's Big Adventures music made Elfman a long-term member of Burton's team, and thus he went on to compose several notable films like Batman, Alice in Wonderland, etc. He composed a much-acclaimed orchestra piece named Ice Dance for another film of Tim Burton, Edward Scissorhands, in 1990. He also contributed his singing voice for movies like The Nightmare Before Christmas as the character Jack Skellington. Later in his career, Elfman's voiced the characters of Bojangles, the skeleton from the 2005 British film Corpse's Bride, and the Oompa Loompas in the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Apart from Burton's movies, he has also composed soundtracks and scores for other hits like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Oz the Great and Powerful, and EU's Justice League. He composed the music for Avengers Age of Ultron in 2015, along with Brian Tyler. He also wrote the score for 50 Shades film series between 2015 and 2018. Recently, Elfman wrote the score for another Tim Burton-directed animated Disney movie called Dumbo, released in March of 2019. He is also working on the music for the film Men in Black International, scheduled to be out in cinemas in 2019. He is currently believed to be composing the score for the 2020 American fantasy comedy movie, The Voyager of Dr. Dolittle, symphonic music, and other projects. Elfman's journey as a concert composer started as the encounter with John Maracay in 2004. They were recording Serenata Schizophrenia for the American Composers Orchestra. Later, the piece premiered at the Carnegie Hall in New York City on February 23, 2005. In 2006, Elfman wrote for Hollywood Bowl Orchestra and composed an overture to a non-existent musical called The Overeager Overture. In 2011, he wrote the music for Cirque du Soleil's show Iris, which was performed at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood from July 21, 2011 to January 19, 2013. His glory as a concert piece writer reached its peak with a 40-minute concerto for violin and orchestra, 1111, was performed in Prague. It was once again conducted by Mosseri. Subsequently, the piece has been performed in Germany and in the U.S., in addition to being recorded and released in 2019. Danny Elfman has two daughters, Lola and Molly. On November 29, 2003, he married actress Bridget Fonda and welcomed a son with her named Oliver. He had an affair with his classmate and bassist Kim Gordon, who later performed with him in the rock band Sonic Youth. Elfman has many famous family members, most of them are working in the entertainment industry. His mother, Blossom Clare Elfman, is an Emmy-winning novelist, while his brother Richard Elfman is a famous actor and filmmaker. His nephew is the actor Bondi Elfman, who is married to actress Jenna Elfman. The famous composer was an atheist in his early days, but has now become a gynecologist. He revealed that he was an astute critic of the American political system, but a trip around the world converted him to the right-wing patriot. Years of performing in a rock band have left him with permanent hearing damage. He has stopped performing concerts and going to noisy bars and restaurants. However, he sometimes performs in front of an orchestra.